Hello everyone, welcome to the new lecture. In this lecture, we'll be discussing about disaster risk mitigation measures, early warning system, common alert protocols. Okay, so when we talk about all these concepts are related with disaster risk reduction as well as the disaster management process. So first topic, disaster risk mitigation measures. Here one term is there, mitigation. Mitigation means reducing or minimizing the possible impact caused by the disaster. So when we talk about disaster risk mitigation measures, there are two kinds of measures we generally talk about: structural measures and non-structural measures. Structural measures such as physical construction and any kind of engineering works, they can be considered under structural measures such as construction of the dam, reservoir, or any kind of canal, particular building construction or infrastructure construction. When we use certain kind of physical construction kind of aspect, then these are considered as structural measures. Okay, some examples I can cite, like earthquake resistant buildings or infrastructure we can have, then creations or construction of dam, reservoir, or canal system to mitigate the flood impact. Then we have another concept, retrofitting. So in retrofitting, we actually strengthen the existing structures, existing infrastructure to tackle the possible impacts caused by the disaster. Okay. Then we can use the safer construction materials, like in earthquake prone or landslide prone zones. If we are using heavy and hard materials, the impact will be massive. But if we are using safer and light materials for the construction purpose, then we can minimize the impact to certain extent. Okay, and then we have to strengthen, we have to follow the particular codes, particular guidelines to make any kind of infrastructure or create any kind of infrastructure. Okay, taking care of hazard prone zones. Okay, so these steps, these measures can be classified under structural measures. Then coming to non-structural measures. So in these measures, we generally consider the planning, policy implementations, and management system. Okay, so these are very important to execute the particular legal framework or any kind of policy or management system can be implemented. So in non-structural measures, both government and non-government organizations, the local people, local communities are also working. So here certain measures can be listed, such as education and awareness program we can have among different social groups, for school children, like which type of steps they can take. Okay, then we have examples for particular measures in disaster risk reduction dimension. So we can make the buildings strength or strong enough to resist a cyclone or flood or any kind of earthquake. So this is very important to follow the particular guidelines or codes put forwarded by the disaster management authority or government organizations, so that we can minimize the impact. Then hazard resistant features we can include in the further development projects. That's why environment assessment aspect, the disaster assessment aspects are generally considered whenever we take new development projects, so that the impact can be minimized. Then generally agriculture is very vulnerable sector in terms of disaster impact. So we can have such strong or resistant crop varieties that they can be least affected. Like if disaster is taken place in an area So those agriculture or standing crop can be hit, or they can be affected in a very less extent. So such strong crop variety we can have through research and development process. Then we can adjust the crop cycle, like during flood time or before or after flood time. We can adjust the crop cycle so that they cannot be impacted at the extensive level. The land use planning and the proper regulation is very important in certain high risk zones like mountainous area, hilly area. Land use planning is important to restrict the unsustainable tourism development or any kind of infrastructure construction. So without disturbing the natural stability in those high risk zones, the planning or any kind of development projects can be taken care of. Then economic diversification is very important, because whenever a disaster happens, the most crucial thing is the livelihood loss. And again, rehabilitating the or recovering the livelihood or employment generation is a big task. So what we can do, we can diversify the economic sector. Like if one sector is largely affected by a disaster, then another sector can collaborate, or another sector we can enhance, or we can actually make better development in another sector, and that loss can be accommodated. So the loss in one sector can be balanced or accommodated by the profit or by the gains in another sector. For example, if agriculture sector is hit by cyclones or flood like situation, then what we can do, we can focus on the tertiary sector, or we can focus on the manufacturing sector, so that the GDP can be balanced in more proper way, so that if losses one sector is there, it will not negatively impact our economy in such context. Okay, so that diversification is very important, and accordingly we have to train the people. We have to make them aware for these kind of disaster risk or